Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. In this episode, I'm going to share with you this node setup that I did inside Sverchok. Basically, I'm challenging myself to make this drawer. It's really simple. Actually, if you look at it, it's just something that you can really start from a box, and then you kind of do a little bit of extrusion here and there for the face, and then the handle bits slightly a little bit tricky to think about the matrix and all that, but everything else is simple. It's just a cylinder, and then there's this like a plane. Maybe next time I'll make something that looks like a door with a hinge. For now, just trying to start thinking about this kind of furniture kind of objects procedurally. It's not always so straightforward to do, but anyway, this is what I end up with. At the moment in the scene, I don't have anything except for a plane. So this guy, just a flat plane being rotated 90 degrees. And this plane actually, when it's centered on the 3D axis, like this will generate the drawer right away. If I just source this guy, get selection, and then turn on Sverchok, so I get this, and I can easily scale this guy in X and scale it in the Z axis. It's not like 100% perfect yet. You should follow it, and I can move it. One problem I have is actually with the handle. The thinking about the matrix is a little bit tricky. I think the answer is to do matrix apply for the handle, but it's not always so straightforward once you have a lot of nodes. But anyway, I'll tell you like the whole process that I did. So I start with the plane, right? The plane is becoming like one object that's all the other parts dependent into. At some point, maybe I don't want to rely on like an object in 3D view. I can still reference it, but in 3D view, I think it's best if the user or the artist just have like a locator with a bit of control that can be referenced, but not like this. But anyway, so I have a plane, and then I use a matrix apply to apply the transformation of the objects, just in case I want to scale it or do things like that. Currently, the handle only react to the position, but everything else seems to be working fine. So I have that part. Let's start from the handle. So I have this. Actually, we can start with that face. So we know that the plane kind of giving a good reference for this part of the drawer. So we can kind of have just use a inset and solidify. Solidify just gonna create a thickness, and then we are pretty much done there. The inset special actually control the back part. It's not 100% perfect, but it's kind of doing it all right. We can control the depth of the drawer, so that's kind of okay. The scale, not so much. And currently the limitation of this drawer also, it needs to be square. It doesn't, if I use like n-gon, it will not work. I'm actually extruding from the original plane. I'm extruding it back, and then from that I'm getting this just get the top part, and I'm extruding it down. So it's like I only do that operations to get this part. So a lot of dependency here. So I extrude it backward to get the top part, and then I extrude it down, and I get this this shape. And then the next thing I'll do is just solidify. So that's really the simplest part of the whole process. It is supposed to be simple actually. The back part, is done. The handle is slightly trickier, but it's just basically a cylinder. It needs a correct transform, and for this these two side handles, and then the long part, the long bit, and I currently have control over it. It's not, I think it's not like perfect, but I'll share with you the node tree, and you can study it, maybe make modification, and actually maybe tweak it so it is actually better. Currently I'm actually using, I'm using line, for example, 2 vertices line, and then to control this bit. It's not currently dependent on anything. It's something that the user can adjust. In reality, the handles, if you want to have like a drawer can have like all kind of handles, perhaps like an old school kind of handle like this. Also, imagine if you have like all kind of drawers in all kind of shapes. It's a kind of good idea to be able to change the type of the handle. For now, it's just keep it like this. So we have the handle, and the handle is actually, I believe I'm actually finding the center polygons of the original plane reference. Get the center and then shift it, and just kind of offset the center, and based on that I'm placing my cylinder. Seems like a little bit more complex than it needs to, but really in the end we just have we just worry about the drawer in the end. Once we are happy, we just gonna bake it, and I believe if we select them and then put it to the side, so we have it there. So this is one example of procedural modeling that's actually probably can be useful. What I like really is to be able to give the user control, like let's say the user give just like a multiple plane to represent the drawer, and perhaps at some point they will also want to have the entire furniture like that, and with all this shape, and I want to be able to bring it all, and then Sverchok just do the rest. That's kind of the ideal final result. Currently I didn't get that yet. The problem is with the rotation. So if I rotate this guy, so that handle doesn't work. So that's something that I still need to think about. What's cool, however, if I'm doing it correctly, so every single part have its own matrix. So if we use like a matrix in, plug into this guy, and so that's the second part, and then we have the back part and the front part. I think this guy, and then we use like a plane. Let's see, plane viewer draw. Whoop! Spreadsheet just crashes. Wow. Okay, I'll need to restart Blender real quick. But basically, the idea is to be able to create the matrix, like a duplication of all the objects, and perhaps maybe randomize the scale as well. But Yeah, let's wait a few seconds until Blender restarted. Let's get back to this file, save as. So okay, all the different parts. Matrix in 1, 2, and we don't need to see this, and then 3, 4. I believe we can actually control offset the final result this way, and then rotation also should actually work. Actually the scale should work, but the rotation, I found the rotation is the tricky bits. Okay, scale will not work too well because it's gonna be like stretching like this. We don't want that. Maybe scale in proportionally should work. Rotation is tricky. If I use like, let's try like a z axis and the angle float. I wonder if this actually works. Yeah, this actually works. This is actually maybe something that I can use to do the rotation and stuff. I'm not referencing this guy anymore. This guy is only for the look, but the final result can simply just use this. So because of that, we can really, let's say, have a like a grid plane and create some duplicates. So that kind of works. That's nice. And center it, and then perhaps make a bunch of them. Not in the x-axis, maybe in the y-plane axis. So I need to rewire x to y. Originally it's facing up, so it's a z to y. Okay, cool. So that will actually work. We can have 64 of them, and then that's kind of okay. This is like can be used. Now it's we have this multiple drawer, and perhaps we can even like randomize the position. Actually, I'm gonna save this. Rotation, angle, I can randomize that thing, but maybe randomize the position, like randomize input vertices of the position in the z-axis. See, that's actually kind of interesting, you know. Yeah, but the handle is really, currently the way I designed the handle is like maybe a little bit convoluted, maybe not the best thing to do it, but at least we are able to do this, so that's a good thing about it. Depending on how you want to design it, of course you can, if I make it if I design the whole thing differently, I want to be able to have different shape of the drawer. I don't know how it's gonna work if the shape of the drawer is like hexagonal, like I don't know, that's gonna be a little bit weird, but maybe that's gonna be interesting. But let's say if the shape is not, if not square, maybe it's a little bit like not like a perfect square, a little bit crooked like that, but still maybe sometimes you want to do that. I want that to work as well. So yeah, at least this is kind of working pretty interesting. Matrix of drawer. At some point I will make like a matrix of locker, like in the movie The Matrix. We can recreate the whole Matrix movie using Blender, I think. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this live noding, I guess. It's my first attempt to make the drawer. So yeah, hopefully this is useful. If you have any questions, suggestion, just let me know down below. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye.